material.
Absolutely. And John Linneman will be joining us later to discuss Cribs and rightfully so. But okay, so first in the topic of the week was highlighted last week as one of the key points of GDC 2026. It hasn't really happened now. Jason Ronald, speaking of next generation that Microsoft has delivered, 36-minute presentation talking about the future of Xbox. And I think it's fair to say that there's still somewhere to be alive with any particular next generation hardware. We're light on details, but we do have some stuff to talk about. Oliver, where do you want to begin on this? Maybe with the nature of the next generation project Helix hardware, because, well, it's being flagged as like a step change really in gaming, and I think, possibly if you disregard all of the high-end NVIDIA stuff that's happening now, it probably is.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, the spec that they've laid out here is kind of interesting. Basically, they're saying that it's configured for the next generation of DirectX. It has new custom AMD SoC. It has next generation AMD FSR, which has separately been pegged as FSR Diamond by, I think, Jack Young, which is interesting. New ray regeneration. Their new multi-frame generation as well, multi-frame generation. An order of magnitude leap in arts capability, which follows from what we've heard from various insiders. No surprise there. Relies on neural texture compression. There's other technologies. There's no specifics here on the configuration as far as I can see. It's basically just a highlight list of technologies. And if you've been thinking about Microsoft, or if you've been paying attention to NVIDIA, or even if you've just read the 2022 document specifying their next generation console plan, I think this looks pretty familiar. It's all about neural rendering, all about ray tracing, all about using some bespoke technologies that Microsoft is interested in, like direct storage, which perhaps there's some mixed adoption from the PC industry on that front. But overall, I mean, I think the more exciting stuff, which maybe we can talk about in a moment, is the focus on PC, focus on Windows, because everything they're going from Xbox to Windows, bringing the Xbox experience over to many more PC platforms. I think that's very exciting. Very newsworthy. But the baseline spec here is something I think I could have guessed, certainly Alex could have guessed reasonably a lot of these elements without having seen the presentation, because it is pretty familiar by this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's always been a bit of a question mark of the extent to which RDNA 5 is all in on and the extent to which the raw performance of those elements would actually translate into gameplay experiences. And I think by talking about an order of magnitude increase in ray tracing performance, that's really interesting, because it does open the door, obviously, to the sort of stuff that we're very, very interested in, like path-traced experiences, etc. Alex, your take.
I did enjoy the Call of Duty one on the product slide, by the way, because...
Is he path-traced?
Yeah, so there's a lot on here that is interesting. It is actually all following the current public roadmap of the development of the next version of RDNA. Stuff like workcrafts being the core focus of it, enhanced ray tracing, although it wasn't very specific on exactly what that means. Unlike, I would say, I mean, it was still not ultra specific, but the certainly talking about PlayStation 6 was slightly more specific in these regards. Texture compression. They talk about neural texture compression and direct storage, but these are features that we've seen already on the PC side, and actually less so from AMD, and more so from NVIDIA and Intel. Working on those things with various demos you can download and try out on your machine for yourself. So it does seem like a bit like we are debuting with this Xbox some of the next-gen RDNA features, but you're going to hopefully see them on PC. And I think, like Oliver said, that is perhaps the more interesting part of this presentation by Jason Ronald here, is essentially the next-gen Xbox is more PC-like, and kind of like I argued in the direct Q&A, and like Oliver said there too, it's probably going to be just running those PC games is the way it sounds at the moment. with the shipping just being maybe hosted on the Microsoft Store, and some advantages that will have. But as you know, as a part of this push at GDC, we also see that they're going to be bringing the Xbox UI interface deal over to all PCs at some point in the near future, which, you know, as we've seen on the ROG Ally, that maybe if they keep iterating on it, it'll actually be a viable way to use a PC in a home room, in a living room setup, or any kind of setup you want. Hopefully it has other advantages just beyond that. We're still waiting for a bit more details on the advanced shader compilation presentation that was also held at GDC. But in general, it's cool to see that Microsoft is pushing Windows gaming in a more gaming orientated direction, but I still kind of did actually expect a bit more depth from some of the presentation aspects. They talked about better ray tracing performance, and they used the words path tracing, but